Here at the LTE World Summit, I'm talking to Adrian Scrase, who is the CTO of ETSI. Adrian, let's talk about the LTE market at the moment. What do you see as the latest significant developments?
Well, it's a very interesting time, Brian, at the moment because most countries of the world have deployed LTE now in its basic form. They've gained considerable experience having done that, and they're now looking for the next step, how they can mature their LTE deployments, giving an even better experience for users on their networks. So at a show like this, they're all looking to see what are those latest technologies, how can you aggregate spectrum that you have, how can you improve radio performance, all with that aim of trying to give the customer a better experience.
And while refining LTE, we're already seeing a lot of talk about 5G.
Yes, indeed we are. It's quite surprising, but generations happen once every 10 years historically, and it seems that we're on a course for that to happen with 5G. So whilst LTE has got a long way to go in terms of maturity, and we will see LTE continue to be deployed in great numbers throughout the world, we're already looking to see, well, what would that generation look like, and when should we have that generation ready?
Yeah, I mean, people say about 5G that it still hasn't really been defined as such. What's your definition of 5G as opposed to 4G?
Yeah, I mean, that's a golden question that everybody is asking, and I don't think there is an answer right now. I think that's quite usual, because when you embark on defining a new generation, there is this period of reflection where we have to be quite clear about the objectives we're trying to achieve. It would be rather foolish if we were to embark on developing a new technology without having clear user requirements in mind. So we're still at that point of reflection where we're trying to decide what the next generation should look like. But in headline terms, it will be a series of networks that provide greater capacity, greater throughput, a greater user experience. There will be more available networks, more dependable networks, and ironically this will all have to be delivered at a much lower price, because from a consumer point of view, yes, they want better performance, but the citizens aren't necessarily prepared to pay for that.
Yeah, and very integral to it and the success of it, of course, is standards. And this is something that ETSI are very much champions of. What's your opinion on that and how those standards will be developed?
I mean, this is a standardized environment, and it has to be so. If you wish to travel the world, jump off an aeroplane, turn your mobile phone on and hope that it works, that can only be achieved by very high quality and robust standards. And this is where ETSI has a very strong role to play. Standards tend to be 18 months ahead of deployment, roughly. So if you want to know what's going to be deployed in 18 months' time, you need to look at the standards that are being developed right now. If you want to see what standards are going to be developed, you need to look at the studies that are taking place, which are typically 12 months before that. And in the ETSI context, there are a number of pieces of work that are being studied right now, which I think will be game changers for the next generation. They include technologies like network functions, virtualization, mobile edge computing as two good examples, and then the use of millimetric wave bands, which I believe will be a significant contribution towards the next generation. This is all being studied within ETSI right now, and it's likely then to move into 3GPP at the later stage to be incorporated within the 5G system.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm a vendor or a very enthusiastic member of this industry wanting to get involved in 5G, how do I get involved with ETSI in making sure I'm taking part in this standards development?
I mean, joining ETSI is a very simple thing. You can go to the ETSI website, you can click the membership button, and you can find everything you need to actually join the institute. But joining is one thing, participating and contributing is quite another. So you need to decide at what level you wish to contribute to this work. Do you just want to be a passive bystander who monitors the progress, or do you really want to become involved in the standardization groups and actually help shape the future? We find that most modern upcoming companies wish to be the latter. They actually want to play an active role in crafting the standards so that their ideas can be encapsulated in the technologies of the future.
Great, well, I'm sure it's going to be an exciting time. Thanks very much for joining us today.
You're most welcome.
So 5G is getting closer than you think, and you can join ETSI and be a part of it.